So I kinda lied. Last video, I promised to finish this shooter or hack and slash game, but after a while, I began to realize this game is starting to look awfully like a ripoff of every other game on the market. Now, I did initially start this whole project as just practice, but I also started to lose motivation in making a uniform looking game. So I decided to start up a new blank project, and don't worry, this one is going to be a very good game. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Wow, Kaito, you spent an entire month on making that shooter game and you're gonna completely scrap that? Well, I'll make sure to make use of that. Surely. So, I don't know about you, but I love it when I create a new project and already get tons of errors. Thankfully, I figured out this new tactic called create a new map and pretend that it never happened. I mean, hey, bugs aren't bugs unless they bug, right? I began off with creating this really simple cylinder looking thing in Blender and imported that beside Manny for reference. Gave it some color and boom, here's an extremely budget coin. Before moving on though, trust me, I got a good idea. Let me just duplicate a couple of these real quick. Okay, so I got about 2,000 coins here. Well, that broke my computer, so I added more. Alright, I think that's enough of that. So I decided to close my Blender and make the rest of the stuff with some good old default cubes. Because I'm lazy as fuck. So here's where I got to. I think you might be able to tell what it is now. Out of the very few times I went to Japan as a kid, I remember my father bringing me to this arcade place called Round 1, and there would always be this awesome Mario Party coin dozer machine that I could just never stop playing. So my goal is to recreate a similar experience here in the virtual world. I noticed there was some weird jiggling stuff going on, so I made sure to take note of that for the future when I make jiggle fit. I kinda fixed it by creating a better collision in Blender and adding some friction values. I also did a bit of tuning and adding a moving character, so here's where I'm at now. Yeah, trust me, it's getting better. So, what I'm thinking now is to create a dungeon on the side here, so every time there's an event triggered from the coin dozer, the player could explore this dungeon or fight enemies for rewards. I'm also thinking to make this procedurally generated so the dungeon spawns randomly every time. Alright, it's been about 3 millennials and I got a basic dungeon down with no spawns or anything yet, but it should do for now. I made this all in C++, so if you're interested, here's my code. You know, the cool thing about this is my dungeon updates every time it is constructed, and apparently moving things in Unreal makes it go through the constructor each time. So here's what happens when I start moving this. After adding the dungeon to the map, I realized the scaling was a bit too small, so after upping the size, I went ahead and imported the cyborg character from my shooter game. Surprisingly though, this didn't go as smoothly as I expected. A lot of my blueprints just kept becoming corrupt on migration, so I ended up having to recreate them one by one. Fortunately though, a lot of my functionality is done through C++, so I was able to finish most of the tasks just by copy and pasting. The only problem now is that the screen is kinda hard to see. I'm trying to mimic the game screen in real life coin dozers, but I think it doesn't work as well when this whole game is in a screen in the first place. So I decided to leave the screen for other game stuff later on, and for the dungeon, I made this really bright coin here that transports you to the dungeon when it drops. Let me just quickly demonstrate. Oh, and don't worry about the negative coin count for now. Okay, so I got it to the side here, but I guess this coin really just doesn't like to drop or something. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay. And oh, there's a bug. Hold on. Anyway, once the coin drops here, you get transported to this dungeon. I'm thinking for it to have treasure and enemies, but either way, there's a timer, and once that's over, you go back to the coin dozer. Alright, I know this video wasn't too much, but I think this is a good place to leave off. I'll be continuing this game to completion this time, surely. Either way, I'll probably see you guys soon, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and have a fantastic day.